Hello, Fatima Push. I'm here with Esteban Alonso and Josh Medina. Thank you very much for muchas gracias for joining me today. For me, it's evening. For you, it's in the middle of the day. And I apologize that I messed up the date earlier because we had it scheduled earlier. It was my mistake. Can you please introduce yourself, say who you are, what you do in the band, and maybe give us a little bit of your musical backstory, and then tell us what you're doing now, kind of, because Fatima Push is not easy to define genre-wise. So I will start with Esteban. Please start and introduce yourself.
All right. Well, very nice to meet you, Tobias. Thank you very much for having us here. That's a very nice mug. Classic Tobias. Thank you for having us here. And well, yes, my name is Esteban. I'm the bass player in Fatima Push. So we've been around for almost a year now. Around, I mean, releasing music, putting it in streaming and YouTube videos, everything. But we've been playing together for a couple of years prior to that. Of course, setting Fatima Push for the big starting moment, which is what happened a year ago when the pandemic starting.
Yeah,
So
perfect timing.
yeah, perfect timing. Yeah, so yep, we've had the blessing and the chance to play a couple of live shows, before all this crazy stuff happened, and here we are now. This is our fourth single, which is called Open Fire. Is our new song. We released the song, and then a couple weeks after we released a video. We released a live session video for the same song. So at least if we can play live right now, because it's not really responsible for us to do it. We're able to give our audience a little bit of the experience of what going to one of our shows will be, in hopefully sooner than too late. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on right now. And yep, here we are. Thank you for having us here, Tobias.
You're very
Joshi.
welcome. And Josh, can you introduce yourself as well, please?
Sure. Well, my name is Josue, in English, obviously Joshua. And I'm the singer, and I play the synths in the band. We started this project with one a few years ago, so we've been through a lot, to be honest. So we've been through a lot of members. We've been through a lot of different stages in the band. Oh, that's fantastic. That's
Wow, he's
I
got
love
a
this one. I
crazy
love this one.
later.
Sorry, we're gonna. Sorry. Please introduce yourself. This was very unprofessional, but I saw it again in the video, and I really love it.
No, it's a fabulous piece of tool. I mean, I actually have it right there, like a few meters away from me. But yeah, no, definitely. I mean, actually, that's also a part that has given us a lot of new sounds, because at the beginning of the band, we are trying to accomplish a lot of again, sounds that we were uh, relying on other people at the moment, till we realized that we had to do something on our own and just take ownership of the band, take ownership of the project. And I'm not really like sort of a professional piano player, to be honest with you. I know a little bit because I used to have a piano when I was a kid, like near right next to our living room. But it was sort of a whole process that gave us the opportunity to say, like, we need to risk something, we need to really step forward and start doing things for ourselves. And it came up to just both of us at the moment, and that's how we have been working on Fatima for the last couple of years, which we're really grateful with the response of the public. And that's more or less where we came from. I mean, it's been a project that has taken a lot of years to accomplish, to build, but we are very satisfied, and we believe in what we're doing, and we're moving forward constantly. And I'm very glad to be here with you with this conversation.
Thank you for having the time, and thank you for being not mad at me that I botched the first meeting. I was kind of
No
sorry,
problem.
sorry for that. Um, Yeah. So how did you the two of you met? Because you know each other for a long time. So I guess you have played in other bands. And also, can you give us maybe a little bit of a backstory where you're coming from music-wise? Because from me, I'm a radio DJ. I can clearly hear that Fatima Push is not your first band. There is a lot of things you have worked up to. It's a very refined and very how should I say, very well done sound. So what's your backstory? What's as you said, you're not a learned keyboard player. So what kind of did you learn? What was the instruments you know, and also how come? What influenced you to make the music for Fatih? What you're doing now? Because we're gonna talk about this in a bit. Because it's hard to describe what it is. What's Fatima Push?
Definitely. Well, yes. I started playing. My father he's an English teacher, but he actually knows how to play piano. He sings really well, and we always had a guitar, an acoustic guitar in the house. So that's what I used to play with from time to time. Again, not professionally. I didn't really go to the academy to learn how to play the piano or the
Hmm.
guitar, and those were like my first experiences with music. Afterwards, I really started developing a long, everlasting taste for rock music, for grunge, for industrial sort of electronic music as well. And I really felt in love with all this kind of 90s electronic music that was starting to develop after the post grunge. And bands like Radiohead and some albums or Rammstein, they really capture my attention, and that was like sort of my beginning with the electronic kind of taste when I was a kid.
Hmm.
And that's how I started like trying to develop those kind of sounds with a small keyboard that I had when I was like 13. And with the years, I started with sort of other different bands, more like metal bands, but I was always longing for a sort of a more particular sound, something that would could really give me sort of more chances to really expand creatively and have more, not be so central minded or single minded with just one
Hmm.
genre, but try to do as much music as possible. Uh, with obviously certain backgrounds, but with the freedom that you would be hoping that you could have as an artist.
Yep. No, I'm completely with you. This is, and I can hear this in your sound. That's why it's so hard to describe what it is. Because music is freedom. There is no right or wrong. There is just what you love and what you don't love. But of course, I want to know. I want to get to know you, so I want to know what influenced you and where you're coming from. And the same goes to Esteban. So, what's your musical upbringing, and what instruments, or did you learn the bass right away? Can you
Thank
say
you. Well,
something about?
absolutely. I I really don't think any or I don't know nobody who's just I'm gonna learn bass and that's it. I think most of us bass players have gone first. I know,
Definitely.
I've seen it.
Okay.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. But no, what I'm trying to say is that most of the people I know who plays a bass, I mean, we've come first from a guitar. It's just natural, right? In our homes, there's not like a bass for you to plug into an amplifier, and you just start playing the guitar. And I think same thing happened to Josh. That's what he started doing. For I mean, we all get familiar with the six strings. It's just that natural vibe that we get when we start, trying to imitate our favorites. In my case, anime songs. Trying to do just a melody. It's just beautiful, but it came just naturally for me. Um, I played the guitar in a couple of bands in the past. When I was a little kid, I've been through everything, metalcore, like. But what I mean, punk, pop, punk rock. I mean, then I started playing the bass for a punk rock band, and then I stick to it. I fell in love with it, and yep. So I mean, what I come from mostly is, I mean, my influences are more for power metal stuff, for prog stuff. I love progressive music. So I think that's kind of the vibe that again naturally came to Fatima Push is just a grunge, a little kind of prog, kind of electronic, which is what we both like. and that was kind of a natural, fusion of
Mm-hmm.
powers with Josh,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much what happened. So yeah, so I've been playing the bass for, I don't know, probably 8 or 10 years already. And and well, in Fatima, it was my experiment, because I started, we don't have a guitar player, so we started doing like, what do we do here? A couple of new bands started giving us some influences as well, such as Royal Blood and some others, in which just in the sound, not really in the music style,
Mm-hmm.
but I was like, damn, I can definitely do something better. And 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 that's how our sound came, at least on my end. The bass, the distortion, no need for a guitar. I can even do solo, and Josh will be my background and that part, which we do a lot whenever I need to just put more hype into my bass lines. He'll be there for me. He can just do the bass frequencies. He can back me up as I back him up. And the rest of the, I mean, when he's singing, I just try we try to keep it low when he's singing, and
Mm-hmm.
then we're just complement musically, so that we can make this happen. But yeah, I mean, we've been through a lot. Josh has played for a couple of bands. He's opened big shows here in the city, and yeah, we came out to discover this, which is what we love the most doing. And yeah, we're pretty excited about it. We're pretty excited to see what's next for us. And yeah, we're here to stay.
Okay, no, this sounds good. So, did you guys meet at at a show, or how did the two guys of you, because you are the backbone of Fatima Push, because in the live videos I saw a lot of you had a drummer and you have some other people, so but you are basically the main force of the band. So how did you meet the two of you?
We met on it was funny because I was already starting like the project Fatima Bush with
Mm-hmm.
with a friend of mine. He was like the guy that was actually in charge of all that has to do with the electronic part. And I knew Juan Esteban, and I showed him. We were working in a call center here. Yeah, it's downtown basically. So I met him there, and he was like, "Hey man, what's up?" Like I'm usually kind of a shy guy. I'm not really sort of I don't know what's the word in English. I actually forgot to.
Mm,
But yeah, I'm more kind
you're
of a
not so
shy guy.
outgoing. You're not so outgoing.
Outgoing, that's right. That's the word actually.
Mm.
I'm not that outgoing, but he is. He is very outgoing. He's very popular guy. And he was like, "Hey, what do you do, man?" And I was like, "No, I play music. I have this project that I'm starting with a friend." And he's, "Oh, okay, great." And he showed me another project that he was working on at the time. And I showed him a sort of a demo that we had with Fatima Push, and he really enjoyed it. It was called Plastic, the song. And for certain reasons, the guy that I was working with, he had to move outside of the city. I really tried my best to do everything possible, humanly possible, to try and continue to work with him, but it
Mm-hmm.
was just too far away. It was
Mm-hmm.
it was impossible. I was working, he was trying his best, but he was also working, so it wasn't practical at all. And when Esteban told me like, "Hey man, if you want to make things happen, you really got to do them yourself. So like, stop waiting for this guy to work with you. Just stop yourself and make sure that it happens." So, and I started thinking like, hey, this guy really has like the sort of vibe that I'm looking like, a really straight, has conviction with music, and I get along with him pretty well. So, and I told him like, hey man, would you mind like joining the band and playing the bass? I don't know who's gonna play the guitar or who's gonna play the synths, but let's give it a shot. I mean, you like the music. I'm pretty sure I can kind of bring something up like we were doing with this other guy. And he said yes. At the beginning, we started doing everything more acoustically till we came to the point that I was able to buy those synths here in Colombia. They're usually more expensive than you would expect
Okay.
because I mean, the difference between the coin with the dollar and everything started to increase. So it was kind of complicated, but we came to a point where we said it doesn't matter what it takes. We're gonna make the sound be what we want it to be. So I started finding out about more professional synths, and that's where I came to find exactly the K oscillator and the microchord. And I thought it was really practical, really simple, but I really liked the sound. And the first time we plugged those two devices, we were amazed. It's like
Hmm.
this sound is it's amazing. I mean, it sounded really well on really big amplifiers, and the way people perceive those sounds when we play live, it's amazing. They're like, I can't believe you guys are making that kind of music with those two little devices. It's like
Hmm.
amazing. And well, that's basically how we met, and that's the short story about the way we met with Juan Esteban, and he has been basically the we have been 50-50 in the band. We have had a lot of musicians, really great musicians, and they're still I mean, they're still part of the band, but we are basically the ones that are always we're like the parents of Fatima, and that's the way it's
Hmm.
always going to be.
Hmm. No, I got it. And with the Chaos later, I just can say what I really like is it's a standalone thing, and you can almost with the whole thing, you have four tracks and stuff. You can make it really, you can on the fly. It's because this is sometimes I talk with a lot of artists, and sometimes this is the biggest problem, that we have to kind of produce a backing track, and then we basically hit play, and then it will be exactly like the backing track. The song will be 4 minute 50, and no second more and no second less. And there's and where you have the possibility to kind of make it live, to really do something on the fly. Yeah, this is what I mean. That's why I was so like, oh wow, he has one of those. That's a really cool tool.
Yeah, actually, I just want to add some little thing. Actually, that's one of the things that we like a lot about being able to play live and not having to stick ourselves with a backing track, because you actually have the availability of changing, or the ability actually of changing things a little bit, and making the whole live session, the whole live show, making it more fulfilling more like the expectations of what a person is
Hmm.
going to go for. That is actually seeing a live music band, and it doesn't matter if it does have a lot of synthesizers or electronic music, as long as it's a live show. It's something that it really fulfills our expectations as well as musicians, and it's nice to be able to change things and not having to be strictly just sticking to the backing tracks. It's something that gives a lot more freedom on
Hmm.
stage as well.
No, I get it. It's like I said, I talk with a lot of artists, and I get both sides. I'm a bass player myself, so Esteban, hello. So I know exactly. It's so cool to have a real band, to just look around, and then you do one more chorus, and if the people really love it, you kind of have the energy from the audience, and um, but also I can understand other people, like if you like a dark wave band, and it's really, and you don't move much on stage anyway, and it's kind of dark and cold anyway, cold wave, then it's fine if you have just a backing track and you just go through it, and motionless singing. But this is not you. You're a live band. You're an alive band. You need to move. You need to kind of live it, and this is also. Obviously have not seen your shows. I just have seen your videos, but I could see there is the energy and the spark that would fly over to the audience. Once you get into your own groove, and you inspire, basically. You're feeling it. There's more. This is always what I like. What I love on live music. There is more than just the music. There is also the energy beam you kind of send out, and there's this meta thing, that it's not the notes by itself. It's just more. Anyway, I could clearly see. So yeah, I see. Both has its benefits. What I wanted to say. Sometimes it's good to have a backing track, but also with you guys, I think it would kind of smother your energy. It would kind of drain you on stage if you like. Okay, now it needs to be exactly like this, and nah, yeah. Okay, um, I I told you that this is not a normal interview. That's why I call it talk. But I have one very stupid question. And as I found, you already did some interviews. I saw you even were on a TV show, but I couldn't understand much. Of course, I only heard Fatima push, Fatima push, Fatima push. And, un hombre, da, 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 da. It was quite cool, but I couldn't get it. I have a stupid question, and sorry for the stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Fatima Push. the name. How did you get to the name? Oh shit, we might have to reconnect in a bit. But can you just say how to oh shit, man. Um, how did you get to the Fatima push?
Well, it was the name. It actually became something that it was sort of accidental, to be honest with you. I was walking downtown and I had one of the first shows for Fatima Push. Actually, it was even before I met Juan Esteban, and I didn't really have a name for the band, and
You
I was
needed
working with
one.
another guy, and it was a show in a college university, obviously, and they were asking me like, "Hey, we're gonna put you to you're gonna play live at 7 p.m. in this bar, but I need you to give us a name because obviously you need a name. You're gonna play live. It doesn't matter if it's a startup project. You need to give us a name." And I was like, "Oh yes, obviously." Like I didn't really have anything in my head, and I was again walking downtown, and there was this place that's sort of a hotel, and it said Fatima, which it's a name that I've always found beautiful, Fatima.
Yeah, I like it too.
There
It's a
was
really nice.
the bell, basically where you ring the bell, and below it said push. I'm just being so it was like
Okay,
the
this is
name.
really funny.
Best band name story ever, ever, ever.
Okay,
Just
it's
kidding.
it's really called Fatima Push.
That's right. Yeah,
That's
that's right.
perfect.
I'm
That's
being honest.
perfect. Okay, that's really good.
And at the end, I mean, I was that's something that I have is because when I still obviously asked me the same, like, hey, and what is it called, Fatima Push? That's like sort of. I mean, it had something to the name, but it's kind of weird. And I was like, at the end of the day, it's a band, the one that creates the name, and it's not the name that is going to make your band
Exactly,
successful.
exactly.
Or
This is. I mean, we're gonna talk about it. Um, just because we will get kicked off very soon. Um, I will. Yeah, because I have only the free version of Zoom. I was.
So like
Are
eight
you
minutes.
on Instagram? I will send you a new link on Instagram. Is this fine with you?
Yeah,
sure,
absolutely.
Okay, okay. Once we are kicked off, I'm gonna send you a new one on Instagram. Yeah. Anyway, that's a very funny story. It's quite a nice story. Uh, yeah, I also like the name Fatima. Is for me, I mean, you are from South America, obviously, but for me, it's kind of like this Oriental, kind of, and but what really resonated with me is, like you said, you have to fill the name because the name itself doesn't say anything. It sounds good, but what it is you behind it. And so, in a sense, you have a perfect name because it doesn't mean anything. I mean, anything bad or something. Um, not like sometimes death metal bands have like destroyer or septic death, or when it's kind of okay. The name already implies something, but Fatima Push is what it means. But it's a very funny origin story. I really like this one. Okay, so thank you for answering the stupid question first. The other question I have is kind of, I had some other people from South America on first. How is the scene for, or no, we start with another question. How would you describe the style of Fatima Push? I know it will be really tough because I would call it genre fluid. You're kind of not stuck to any specific genre, and I really like that. I really love that. But still, as you know, I'm also a radio DJ, so sometimes I need to have some specifications to kind of order things, because otherwise I would get overwhelmed with music. So I have to kind of put on barriers. And so, how would you kind of call your style, or your genre you're in at the moment? I mean, you can always evolve, but what is it? What you're doing right now? How do you, when you go to find a live gig? How do you say, okay, we are Fatima Push and we are doing? What do you say?
We would say, as we call it in our on our social media, like try to put it simple. because we definitely try to do different music every time, but I mean under the same style obviously, but we definitely try. If you listen to the four songs that we've released, I mean they all have their own uh vibe to it, still into our style. But then at the end of the day, what we call it is alternative rock with electronic music,
Okay.
or yeah, alternative rock with industrial rock. But yeah, usually we call it just alt rock with electronic. That's just a
Okay.
short way for us to say, because otherwise we would go nuts trying to
Hmm.
give this a name. But I think this happens to a lot of bands nowadays. People more than often you hear interviews and people always being like either they create their own name for their style, like
Hmm. Yeah,
violet
but this is
rock or
always a little
whatever.
bit tough, because it's kind of this is like a name, it can be everything and nothing, when it's kind of if you find your own new genre, nobody knows what it is. So it's kind of I mean I get your point, but sometimes I think this is really silly, because I get a lot of yeah. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. I didn't want to stop you.
No, but you're absolutely right, Tobias. Now the thing is that well, most of the bands, they say I don't really like to put myself into a specific genre, because I'm not just a genre. I'm way more than that. And well, if you take a look at how things work right now, music is even divided not only on musical styles anymore, but like in mood, right? So you got music for every mood that you are. If you're happy, if you're doing exercise, if you're sad, if you're in the mountains, just camping, whatever. So there's moods for everything, you see. So that's one more thing that people don't like to be put under a specific thing. But
Hmm.
again, if we're going for a radio station, you can be like, yeah, I play everything. No, you just go with, yeah, I play alt rock and electronic music, but you go ahead and listen to it, give it a try, and you
Hmm.
tell me.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's kind of a hard task to define yourself. And but yeah, that's pretty much how we can put it in, like, the short story.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess I'm not gonna ask you how old you are, but I grew up in a time where it was really like, oh, this is not true death metal, and this is not true this, and you can only have this, and if you listen to this band, you are not allowed to listen to that band because this is exclusive, this is not working, and I hated this back then, but today, like you said, it's right. Everyone can be everything at a certain time, and just ask yourself. I cannot always listen to. I like death metal, but I cannot listen to it all the time. Sometimes I wanted a little bit. Um, Something soft, something electronic, and also I guess you also know Fate No More, who kind of did the crossover thing. It was kind of the first time that I heard, oh, they mix some really strange stuff in it together. And but for me, was Ministry the thing. Like, oh yeah, electronic with really heavy guitars. This is what I loved. I was like, oh yes, this is the perfect marriage. This is what I like. And now I'm kind of seeing like you just already described that, oh, we're gonna play around with this, and then we do that, and we don't have a guitar, so we kind of do it with a bass, and so I really like the freedom aspect of it, that there is no limiting factor. You just, okay, this is the things I got, this is what we can do with it. So let's see where we will end. And then, it doesn't really matter how you call it afterwards. We're going to be off quite soon. I'm going to send you, are you both on Instagram? So I can
Yes.
send I sent the link, the next link to Instagram, and then we continue our talk. This is
Okay.
Awesome.
yeah. Just give me a moment. I'm gonna do it right now. Just a second. Du- du- du. I'm gonna do a new one. A new one. Uh, zoom. 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 Do, do, do. And we are back. Da, da, da. Einladen. Du, du, du. Wir laden ein. Bup. Da, da. Du, 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 du. Bam. So, yeah, I'm really sorry for that, but as I talk with so many people, I'm using a lot of different things, and some people have Zoom, and some people have other things. But yeah, I cannot pay for all the stuff that's out there. That's why I'm kind of using the free Zoom variante in German. So I will wait until we connect and just talk a little bit. And yeah, and then we get into some more specifics. Wir lassen Esteban eintreten. He's joining us now. Esteban is back. Yeah, the man is back in the house. Esteban is in the house. And now we just wait for Josh, and then we continue. Oh man, I was just talking to the audience in a monologue kind of way. The thing is, I talk with a lot of different people, and I always let them choose what we want to use. But there's so many different video chat things that I don't want to pay for all of them. So that's why I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, I don't want to look like a cheap bastard, but it's kind of, for me this is my fun time and my hobby. So I cannot, if I invest too much money, I get into trouble with my wife, and I don't want trouble with my wife. Anyway, so yeah, we already established that today we are in the more lucky position that you can listen to pop music and metal, and this is not an exclusive thing anymore. So you already said that you were playing live. What I'm kind of what is a little bit funny for me is okay. You need to go somewhere, Esteban. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Don't get this wrong. This is just you have 4 songs out, and you're already playing live. It's a really short live show. Just checking with you. Don't get me wrong. I would like to see your 4 songs live, but so you're opening for other local acts, or how can just describe me to me what you did in your live shows.
Well, at this point, what we basically did, because we had a couple of them at the beginning, we had different, as I was explaining to you at the beginning, we had sort of a different format. Yeah. So we had to change that a little bit when we started to rebuild the whole structure of the band. And when we started precisely working with the synths, with the chaos and with the microchord, we said we need to build something else because the sound is different. We're no longer playing guitars because we don't have a guitar player right at the moment. So we're gonna have to start everything again, which we basically did. And when we have been playing live shows, it's basically a mixture of those 4 songs that you saw there with a couple more songs.
Okay.
And here in Bogota, you usually get to play live shows not only with one band, but with a few more bands. So you usually have that time frame that is more or less you would say 30 minutes. 45 minutes, and that's a decent time frame for you to play with along 2 or 3 more bands, basically. And that's how we have been playing the live show so far. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fantastic. I like that.
Esteban looks good.
and yes, that's basically the way we have been doing. We have a couple of covers of remakes of songs that we like a lot. It's there's this song from Chris Isaac. It's a classic song that we like a lot, that it's called Wicked Games, for example. We had a couple more from Colombian bands in Spanish that are really eclectic bands here, very nice, wonderful sound. And that's more or less within the whole. You would say that we have like an hour show basically so far.
I see. I see. Okay. Okay.
And let's say something that has helped us a little bit. It's that the fact that we're in this pandemic has given us a chance to actually enhance a lot more the live show, and had the opportunity to actually pay attention to more, well, I would say, professional details, like sort of the visuals that you're going to use. Actually, work a lot more in the show, not just playing the songs, but really making sure that the show is not only a live show, but it's also a visual experience and something that is going to work like sort of a movie that has a
Mm-hmm.
continuity, that is going to really take the person that is viewing the show from point A to point Z, and it's going to be something really nice. That it's going to be a whole experience. If we trying to give the show something that is not going to be like just a rock band playing the whole show like straight like until the end, and you're just at the end some sort of. If it's a new band, it's easy for you to get kind of at the beginning like a little bit fed up,
Mm-hmm.
and it happens to absolutely everybody. I mean, it can be the best band in the world, but you need to take that into account when you're playing a live show to somebody that hasn't listened to your music. So that's what we're trying to build at the moment, like a whole experience that is going to really make the show a little bit more professional, and at the same time, it's really going to build an experience with the audience when we're playing live after everything is back to normal, basically.
If I
Okay.
can add something to that, well, when we had the chance to play almost, uh, like 4 or 5 shows that we were able to make, it was really a mystery for us what was really going to happen, because we're the new band with this new music, which is not easy to describe, but then also is not only a good thing in our minds, because I mean it's just a new thing, and people don't I mean they don't always react good to new kind of stuff that they don't know. Actually, I mean, in people's mind, there's so much music out there that in your mind, you really don't want to hear new styles or new stuff. You just want to stick to your classics. You love your classics. You have good time with your classics. So it was a little bit of I was like, all right, before our first show, we were just like holding hands, and we're like, okay, let's do this. Let's see. Let's I don't know. Let's pray,
Mm-hmm.
and we played pray as well. So it was like I don't know what's gonna happen, Josh, but let's do our best, and whatever. We had a girl playing the drums by the time, so it was very appealing as well. In a live show, if you see a girl playing the drums, that was very good. I was like, at least there's a girl. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this is entertainment, and I have a
if
girl,
if they're not coming
sexy.
for you, they come at least for
Yeah,
the girl.
at least they're gonna see a girl. I was
Mm,
like, girl, but do your
mm,
best. She got makeup and she was all pretty, and I was gladly surprised, because I mean we started playing the show. People was like, everybody was like, everybody was talking, and once we started playing, nobody was talking. That was a good thing. Everybody was paying attention. Like, what the hell is this? And I was super nervous, like, but different nervous than with other bands, because when you play some stuff that people like, or they know, it's I mean you already kind of expect what's gonna happen, but with Fatima it was super different, because I wasn't really sure what to expect, but it turned out super good for us. I mean, once we were done with the show, we went down the stage, everybody was like saying congrats, hey, that was so cool. But one thing that I got a lot is like, hey man, that was a cool show, and thank you. And I was like, well, thank you for being here.
mhm,
And they were like, no, thank you, because you're giving us like a new experience. It was like, literally, I got this from a couple of persons. They were telling me that this was like when they throw a ball of water at you, and like
mhm,
refreshing.
mhm.
That was a
A
feeling
wake-up call.
that, yeah, that was pretty much a wake up call, that they were trying to tell me what they felt, and I was like, wow. And Josh, you got the same reaction for people. So yeah, I mean, it was good to see that people reacted good to something they were not really familiar. And then by the time we started playing the shows, I think we didn't even had released the song, so nobody knew the songs. It's not like if we play live now, whoever's going to our shows is gonna know the songs, because they're an internet, right? But by the
Mhm,
time, nobody knew at all what we were doing. Like, just our friends who came with us to the rehearsal, and reaction was super good, super good. Like now that we are 1 year later, 4 songs later, with a lot of ideas. Hopefully, well, when all this happens, but I truly can imagine us playing for tons of people, live arenas, and the result will be like, you know, uh, the same thing, but super big scenarios, and I think that might work super well. Hopefully we'll get to that part of the process one day when we are allowed to, but definitely
Hmm.
working on it.
Hmm. So, have you reached out to a label or to a promotion agency already, so that you get help from them to promote yourself?
Well, that's a really interesting question because we here in Colombia, the way usually things work, because we're a Latin American country, and there's a lot of different styles of music that are more appealing to, let's say, the majority of people here,
The
because
mainstream.
exactly,
Mm,
Bogota
mm,
is just a little place, and just this is the capital. But if you check the map, you're gonna find out that the rest of the country, they're usually built out with all sorts of individuals, but people are more inclined to listen to tropical music, basically. That's, to be
okay.
honest. And that's the labels really try to capture this sort of artists to make money, because that's what it sells usually when they are, people are kind of, I don't know. There are many festivals of different, let's say, holidays here that are very important, and people like to be dancing, basically. So that's
Hmm.
something that's very important. And reaching out to a label at this point here in Colombia is sort of complicated. We have thought about actually doing it for with an outside label, but after actually researching a little bit and being like completely honest with the industry of the music as it is nowadays, we have kind of come to the conclusion that there's a part that you need to build on your own. Like,
Hmm.
there's nobody that is going to come, that's going to save you, that is going to show your music to someone else. And actually trying to bring or sign a contract at the early stage of a band, it can be more hurtful at a certain point than
Hmm.
productive, because
Hmm.
you're not really in the position of actually making tons of money. So you're probably going to be owing money to a
Hmm.
company that you're going to be working with. So you got to be really honest, and you're going to try to build your audience and have them be as loyal as possible to you. And hopeful, and no, the good thing actually is that you do have a lot of tools that can help you not only to build your audience, but to build a really loyal base of audience that can actually go and not only share your music here in Colombia but outside of the world. So at this point, we really think it's wise from our end to actually self promote ourselves, so we get to a point where we really think it might be uh, wise enough to actually maybe uh, sign a contract. Who knows? I mean, there are a lot of things that might happen in the way, and we're pretty sure they're going to be on our benefit. But hopefully, I would say if we can accomplish the goal of being a band, what we say, an independent band that has built a really like a decent career, and we can be self-productive, and we can actually be our own label, that would be great. I mean, you
Hmm.
would save a lot of headaches in the near future. But we'll see how everything works. I mean, music industry has been changing drastically in the last years, and we'll see. I mean, if you're smart, and if you're constant with social media, and if you keep creating and being honest with your music, creating decent content, and being constant in what you're working with, I believe there's a high chance that you might be able to do something really interesting with your music, and you can share it with a lot of people. But you need to be constant, and in spite of all the things that might happen in the way, you need to just keep going. And that's like the reason why a lot of bands here in Colombia haven't been able to make it to that point, because they give up really easily, and it's not easy. I know that for a
Hmm.
fact. But that's basically what I think about the music industry at the point in Colombia,
Yeah.
and awesome so
No,
far.
and I just wanted to add, and you're doing. I mean, I saw your Instagram, and it looks very professional. I suck at this stuff. I have to really admit, I'm really bad at this. So, I hate the social media side of it. But on the other hand, I mean, don't hate the player, hate the game. I don't like it, but I do it. And don't forget, before you leave, I need to make a picture, to kind of post it on my Instagram, so
Yeah.
that people can find, whatever. And but see, this is why we're doing this. I mean, I wanted to get to know you because I found your songs, and I found you very interesting and intriguing. So, but and I know a few people, and you're in my play. Have you been in my playlist? I don't know. You've been in my radio show. Anyway, I have a playlist, and so things move on. So you're doing well, and this is the good thing and the bad thing today. You don't need to have a label, but that's good. But on the other hand, sometimes it's bad because as a radio DJ, I can tell you, you get a lot of not so good music, let's put it nicely. And because everyone on his cell phone today can make a song and send it out, and yeah, and other people have to deal with it. So sometimes it's not so fun. But yeah.
Definitely.
Pardon me?
No, yes, definitely. I agree with what you're saying. I mean,
Okay.
it does have like a side to it. Definitely,
Mhm.
mostly agree.
Um, as I've seen your video for the live video for Prey, um, have you considered to do some live streaming shows or something? Because it looked very professional, the video already. So I mean, somebody was obviously there with the camera and filming and stuff. So have you thought about this to reach a greater audience also across the pond? I'm here in Europe, and so and your music here in Europe, I think it's very well liked.
Definitely.
So you
Awesome.
you
Well,
did okay. So Esteban, go ahead.
we've thought about it. I don't really know if Josh would like to do it, but yeah, we can definitely set something up in order to make a, but we're not really into it, to be completely honest with you. We really like the vibe to
Hmm.
feel the audience and everything. But I think nowadays, I mean, if this situation keeps going on, there's no other way to actually promote and show and throw a live show to people, than doing streaming. I've seen some decent streaming already. I mean, there's we just move forward as human beings, like 20 years technology wise, with this crazy pandemic, because everything was just so chill because everybody could just gather together. But now streaming services and everything is just super advanced, and it keeps on going forward. So yep, I guess if this keeps on going like this, I mean, we'll only be able to play live for up to 20 people. It's definitely not the greatest thing. And I mean, looking at the bright side, if we do a live show streaming, exactly, we could go to audiences that we will not be able to reach on a regular show. um we've got a couple of things in Germany with yourself, Tobias. We had an interview with
Oh,
another one of our fellows as well. He's from
you just
San Fran. Oh,
can you
yeah, that was not Germany, but
can you repeat it, please? You were just cut off. Sorry.
cut.
You
My
were
bad. Okay.
you were cut off.
So yeah,
Just
my bad. Yes. So I was saying that it would be, if there's no other way for us to play like a super cool live show with real people in a real scenario,
mhm.
definitely we will go to the streaming part like everybody else has. So we will be able to reach more audience. I mean, worldwide, being able to play for people who definitely we wouldn't be able to play in a regular show, at least here in Colombia. So yeah, I guess we're
Mhm.
open to see what's out there. And about what you guys were talking about, I mean, about discographic company to come. I think, and many of them, they recommend this in the musical industry. They recommend you to just build up your numbers, buddy. The I mean, this is not like the in the movies in the 90s, that you were playing live show and then a guy with a case will come to you and tell you, hey, look, this is what I got for you, magic contract, and then everything will happen. This is not it anymore. And we are 110% aware of that. So
Hmm.
definitely we're just building it up, working on our music, working on our numbers, and they tell you to do that, and definitely let them come to you, not you just go and beg for them. The
Hmm.
shittest deal that it can possibly be, so that you'll be in debt with them like forever, like signing a contract with the devil. That's done different, definitely what we're looking for. But just doing honest work, keep on doing our thing, and eventually if we have the chance to work with someone, hopefully it will be under our conditions, and in benefit of our music, which is the only thing that we're interested in here, honestly.
That's a good point, actually, Esteban. Have you reached out to other musicians, like collaborations or something? Because this is also, the new thing right now, that somebody remixes your song, or you work together on a song, on an original song with some artists you find online or so. Have you done that, or are you working? I mean, if you're at liberty to talk about it, have you something in the works here?
Well, I think, I mean, we haven't so far actually, because I would say, given the fact that our music is not that commercial out here in Colombia, but at the same time, we do have what it takes to have a featuring with some artists that we really admire. We haven't started that process so far, but we will. I mean, so
Hmm.
far, I'm just, for example, I mean, the next song is probably going to have a couple of collaborations. It's not going to be from famous artists. It's going to be probably from my sister that has a band in Germany.
Okay.
It's or it can, we are also more than open to working with a couple of artists here in Colombia. Juan Esteban has actually been on top of that part. He's always been searching and seeing what is the best kind of way to approach that kind of featuring. And we have a few options, but we really need to sit down and make sure that it's a good move and that we're going to really accomplish like a really good
Hmm.
song out of it before we
But
decide
that's
to.
that's another thing I really found with your sound. It's um, your sound is really good. I'm listening to a lot of bands. I get sent a lot of demos and stuff from my radio show. And how did you achieve the high quality? Because it's really good produced. I mean, like mixed and mastered. It's not just the music is good, but also the production value is quite good. How did you do that?
Well, gladly, we had the chance to go to one of the best music studios here in the city. It's called Artico Records. What would it mean in English? Artico is like your attic, I guess, right?
Okay.
And yep, that's the name of it. And yeah, it's a very renowned studio around here. We had the chance to work with one of my best friends and producer for those records. His name is Luis Santi Esteban, and he helped us recording and producing these songs. So yeah, we had a very, very, very well fortunate time back in the day. Drums were super well recorded, vocals, I mean, all the process was super delicate to be. And I was glad, because I mean, by the time we didn't really have the resources to go and record in a working space like that. I mean, you always dream to go to Abbey Road and record your stuff, but I mean, we were trying to record that in our house or in our friend's house with a home studio, which nowadays is perfectly valid. I mean,
Hmm.
Billie Eilish did all her stuff in her bedroom with her brother.
Hmm.
What they don't tell you is that her brother is just is freaking awesome in that. But honestly, she did all from her bedroom. But still, I
Hmm.
mean, we didn't have the knowledge, we didn't have the equipment, we didn't have anything, and I was like, oh my god. But yeah, we had the fortune to go and record in one of the best places and get the sound. Besides that, the mix was
You,
That's
you you
my
muted
bad, my
yourself.
bad. Yep. Yeah. So we didn't we had a lot of versions of each song on the mix, so that we were really satisfied with the mix. And then the mastering was done in New York City,
Wow.
um, by a company called Nata Recording. They're mastering a lot of stuff here in Colombia, so they're doing something good and people's liking it. And yeah, we know how to get our things done now that that we have all these songs together. We know where to go record, we know where to go and mix, we know where to go and do the master. So we always try to keep the standard super high
Yep.
on our productions. And one more thing that I wanted to mention to buy is that you were talking about collaborations besides what Josh said about working upcoming works with I mean featuring hopefully known artists, which is also a super, putting some muscle to the
Some
to
push
the
for the social media
exactly.
stuff. Yep.
That'll definitely help us a lot. And I want to mention that when you talked about Pray, so when we first released the song Pray, I did a I was like, I want, there's a part like on the break and at the end, there's a part that is quite instrumental, and I was like, I want to play something on top of my stuff already. And so I did like a kind of a soloing with my bass and distortion and stuff. And then, we started getting I started getting some responses like, oh, that was so cool, like someone told me I would like to do something like that too. And I was like, okay. I talked to the guys and I was like, what do you guys think if we, so what happened, and I can show you that so we can put it in this video maybe, is that a lot of guitar players, acoustic guitar players, there was a guy who played piano, there was a guy who played like piano but like synth, did their own improvisations on top of our music, and that was super amazing. We were not really super excited about it at the very beginning when I told the guys like, hey, Josh and the rest of the guys by the time, let's do this, and they were like, but then we started seeing collaborations with local musicians and even people from some other parts. I mean, there was this guy from Indonesia, absolutely amazing, bro. He had like a crazy um Rage Against the Machine guitar style device and style. It was just crazy. And yeah, we had the chance to collaborate with like around 10 musicians. I gotta show you. It was super cool because people really got into participate a little bit in our music, and that's what it is about right now. You got to create some kind of dynamic for people to be actively involved in what's going on, because you're not just only music. This is entertainment and it's fun. It's fun because technology wise we have the chance to do a lot of things that we were not able to do 10 years ago, and hopefully we'll be able to continue on that path. But yeah, where you got to be creative and make this as fun as it is to play, as fun as it's got to be delivered to people. So we're working on it.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Like I said in the beginning, you really struck me as a live band, as a, and this for me this sounds a little bit like an open stage invitation, where everyone can just go on stage and take an instrument and just jam, like a jam session. But yeah, it sounds cool. Before I forget, because Esteban put on the this is some cover artwork from Fatima Push. So who's doing your cover artwork? Who's responsible for that?
We were, as Juan Esteban was explaining, that everything comes together. So there's one thing that I would like to kind of highlight about the whole process, including the artwork, is that we have started actually with having really little resources, but people have been seeing our passion somehow, and our constant work that we have received a lot of help from people that we know, from people that we actually do not know. And that's the way that we have come to really build what we are having now as Fatima Push, starting with the audio recordings. And really, I mean, it's not easy to make music here in Colombia. I mean, not money wise, not time wise, not anything at all. But I think if you put your passion and you're really disciplined and you're really constant, people will start seeing that. And if you're honest and somehow the music is kind of working out, people will offer themselves to help you. So in this case, this was a guy that I knew when I was in high school, and he wrote me. He said like, hey, his name is Cristian Sandoval Puentes. Like, if you can get to need any help with your artwork, just let me know. And I was like, yes, I actually want to bring it to the next level, because the first pieces of work that we had for the first single, for example, Pray, that was self-made we tried to do our best because we didn't have the money at the moment to start working, because we needed to release the song. We needed to pay this part, this others. At the end of the day, we really thought it was going to be easier that way. But when we started with the following singles, this friend of mine that I knew in high school, he told me like, I can help you. I'll be more than willing to do it. And that's how we actually came to this sort of artwork that is a lot more professional, and it has given us the opportunity to really see ourselves with a more logic type kind of outcome with what is going to go on with Fatima Push. That has a whole background. It has a little bit more of it has more worked sort of philosophy behind the image of every single thing and every single detail that is going to be kind of being explained with the music, with the videos, and absolutely everything. So yes, I mean that's more or less the way we came up with this. It's a really big friend of mine, really talented, and yes, that's it.
Yeah,
We'll leave it in Instagram for him so you guys can follow him and
Yeah,
see his
he's
work. It's quite
and
amazing.
like his art exactly. I just checked out as you said Prey, and it looks a little bit Rammsteiny. You know, it reminds me on Rammstein because we had one of their covers also where we all had like chalk on or something. You know, it looks a little bit like that. But cool. Okay, so as we are about in an hour, and you know, my dinner is waiting. I just have a few fun things we can talk about if you want. Um, one question is always funny. As you are lucky enough that you had some live gigs already in your existence, was there any funny mishaps driving to the gig or on stage or behind the stage, or did somebody fell off the stage, or was there any funny stuff what happened there?
One.
One.
What fun!
I know.
Just had a couple of shows. I mean, one thing that happened, it was not funny at all. Let me see what
Okay.
happened last time.
Keep it also PG-13. You know, we need it for YouTube. We need it age restrictive free.
But well, I can say something while when Esteban thinks about it. I mean, one of the shows that, and it was kind of funny, to be honest with you, as you were mentioning something earlier, like, and it has to do a lot with the actual scene here in Colombia. I'm not sure why, but usually when you're gonna play any sort of rock concert, and if it's with other bands, there are usually going to be at least a few heavy metal, black metal, or trash metal bands around. So on the concerts that we had, I remember a lot. One of the first ones that we had, it was a gig, and they were like this for metal, but extremely radical metal bands, and they were like trash, black, and at the end of the day, like it was our time to get on stage, and I was like checking all these metal heads. And here in Colombia, I mean, and nothing against, because I love metal from the bottom of my heart, but they tend to be kind of radical. If they see that something is not that true metal stuff, and they
Yeah.
are,
But what I said earlier, you know, it's kind of yeah.
yeah, so it's kind of risky, because if for some reason they don't like it, they're gonna just
Throw
they're gonna turn
bottles at you and stuff, and yeah, you get
throw
drenched in
things.
beer.
I mean, you can expect whatever thing, and we were
Hmm.
kind of a little bit afraid. But I said, like, okay, doesn't matter. Let's do what we got to do. When Esteban was in the same mood, and he was gonna start playing, and for some reason, his bass cut off immediately, like. I mean, there was no way we could actually get it to sound. I wasn't sure what's going on, and people started like getting kind of upset. It was these metalheads that were waiting for us, so it was a lot of stress at that moment. We were really. I was like, I mean, everything has gone to. I mean, there's nothing we can do. We just blow this stuff up. At the end, he was able to. I mean, there was an issue with the plug, and everything started to work out. When we got off stage, I was extremely nervous. People were just amazed. There was this guy that I had played before. He came up, he gave me a hug. He said, I really like your music, and people were headbanging over there on the other side. So it was, at the end of the day, something very beautiful, because we really didn't expect that kind of outcome. That was when I started to say, there's something to our show, and there's something to our music that we really need to focus on, because it's given us a really good result. I thought we were going to start throwing things at us at a moment, but it was, people were just like, what's this? And at the end, they started applauding. It was a beautiful experience after all, but it was very stressing at the beginning. So it was
Hmm.
funny, but it was uplifting at the end of the day. So yeah.
That's a positive
Yeah,
story. Yeah.
I think that was the one that I was gonna tell. Yeah, it was It was super hard.
Hmm.
And do we talk about how we met, Tobias? We met in Super Hub. Actually, this is the second time Tobias has helped us out. I think we met because of Pray, and now I reached out again um because of Open Fire. So yeah, thanks again for the second time, pal. You're
You,
amazing.
you're
I've seen
very,
your
very well
videos.
welcome. You're very
He's
welcome.
singing and playing the bass. He's got his thing going on, and yeah, you got well produced videos, buddy. Congratulations.
Yeah,
You're an
well,
artist as well.
yeah, but not yeah. Anyway, I don't have much time for it. But see, that's a good point. Is there? I think already Josh said about it. You're working on a new video, right? So so because I see we have only 6 minutes left. Let's take the last 6 minutes to say what's in it for the people with Fatima Push. So what can we expect from the future? Uh, New songs I heard already. You have more than enough songs coming, and a new video. Is there something else
Sure.
you want to announce?
Well, I would say, and I will add something after I do so. I'm going to try to be as brief as possible. So we have a new kind of a really, um, I would say this. It's going to be within the sound of Fatima Push, but we just are going to explore a little bit more of Latin sounds. That's what people are going to find in their new single,
Cool.
and a really interesting background and the meaning of the song that is going to come obviously with the video. That's how we're going to work at least this year, where we finish building a really really good, nice, loyal database of fans that we are doing at the point. And yes, people are going to be expecting a lot of social content. We get inspired from a lot of stuff, not only social content, but it can be anything. I mean, existence, a movie, a book. So we are trying to uh, build everything in one place and being as honest and as explicit as possible in a positive way. So that's basically what they're going to be expecting. I don't know what else you want to add. One maybe.
Hopefully we'll be able to show always different sides visually, musically. I mean, what people can always be sure about us. We'll always try to give our best and provide a different experience each time. Like Walendai was a Spanish song talking about violence here in our country, and gladly so many people around the globe was able to identify, which I was not really sure if that was going to happen. We were not planning that, but then you realize the power of the music and the power of the images coming with the music. People will be able always to comply, will always being able to being identified with what we're talking about. There's violence, there's problems all around the globe. Not that we're gonna talk only about problems. Hell no, we're gonna talk about just not taking it that serious. We can talk about
Hmm.
party, just enjoy it. This is one life, one shot, one chance you have, of course. But there will always very authentic and honest from our part, visually and musically. So stay tuned. Searches. I mean, Fatima Push. We're from Colombia, South
I'm
America.
gonna link to you in the description anyway, so people should find it.
Exact.
See,
Awesome.
before you leave, I need a picture. I just said, how much I suck with social media. Let's do a picture. Let's see. Okay. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay. Just say hi. Yeah. Right on. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you. So thank you very much. I Okay. Let's stop this here.